Watchdogs, Ubisoft's brand new free roam release, often described as one of the year's most anticipated games. But does it live up to the hype? I'm going to be going over some of the facts and some of my personal opinions about a game that I myself have been waiting for a very long time. Watchdogs is a free roam shooter with a twist. You play as Aiden Pierce, a vigilante hacker who makes it his personal duty to protect the citizens of Chicago with his select set of skills that make him the modern day badass. With his mobile phone as his strongest weapon, showing that nerdy is the new nasty, and a world that can be so easily manipulated with the right skill set. The main storyline is incredibly emotionally involving, as you take Aiden on a mission to avenge the death of his young niece who was killed during an attempt on Aiden's life. Going from clue to clue throughout missions, you attempt to find the people responsible for the hit on Aiden that claimed the life of a young innocent relative. Though the storyline almost seems a little easy, avenging the death of a loved one, the use of emotional cutscenes and convincing emotions portrayed by the animators and voice actors responsible for this title do pull you in, and you find yourself almost wanting to avenge the death of Aiden's niece, and you yourself get ready to go out and bring down some vigilante justice.
6 years old. It's tragic.
Where are they?
Such a waste. All of this, it's such a waste. You know, the real tragedy here is that somebody like you was surrounded by so many fragile things. It makes you fragile.
Where?
That's not how it works. You don't want to answer that.
Yeah. Nikki! Where are you? Nikki!
Stop and think. You fuck around and she is dead.
The map size itself is not actually as large as some of the free roam games we've come to love, such as Skyrim and GTA 5. However, with a storyline based so much on emotions as opposed to in-depth storytelling, it begins to rely on the backup of a believable and realistic environment to embark on your adventure within, as opposed to sheer size. Thankfully, Watchdogs does not fail here. The city of Chicago is truly astounding, and it is easy to find yourself getting lost amongst the streets and simply exploring as if becoming nothing more than a tourist. As you walk amongst the crowded streets, it's possible to hear conversations amongst strangers, some arguing, some complimenting each other, and others just being downright hilarious.
In a porn, we fuck like gorillas. If the elevator broke down, obviously. Come on, up top.
The AI, however, are not just strangers wandering the streets. Using Aiden's trusty phone, you get a little insight into the lives of those around you, giving you their name, a random bit of information, which 9 times out of 10 is something hilarious, their job and their annual income. However, just adding these tiny bits of information to literally every single person around you makes you feel as though you're part of an actual living, breathing city as opposed to just a map with random AI walking around it. Random events will unfold around you, such as a car crash or emergency service vehicles being dispatched, which again just make the world feel that little bit more realistic. Chicago looks great during the day, however the city looks even better during gameplay at night. The whole city's aesthetics seem to change, and it truly looks astounding. However, not only does it look better, it adds a brand new dynamic to the game. At night time, triggering a blackout not only disables the electrics in your area, it becomes pitch black, offering you a blanket of safety, allowing you to move around unseen by either opposing gunmen or the police attempting to bring you down. The reason you are able to hack the environment around you is pretty simple. As you'll hear over the radio as you drive around, Chicago has had a drastic electronics makeover, and the entire city has been linked via a system known as CTOS. Everything in the city is controlled and run via the system, however the one thing the developers of the CTOS system didn't bank on was hackers such as Aiden Pierce breaking into the system and becoming able to manipulate almost everything around them. From traffic lights to underground steam pipes and CCTV cameras to explosives, and being able to use them to their own advantage, and turning them against criminals and, if needs be, the local police force. Though Aiden doesn't have superpowers, being able to manipulate your environment to this extent does give you an incredible sense of power over those around you, and makes you feel as though you are able to take on the entire Chicago police force with ease. Hacking, however, doesn't stop there. With a press of a button, you open up what is known as the profiler. This is how you get the details of everyone around you, as I previously mentioned, and points out any flaws in the systems around you, letting you know what you can hack at any given time. Also, you're able to tap into the phone calls of random AI for no better reason than being nosy and having a laugh. If an enemy is carrying some remote explosives on their belt, Aiden is able to detonate them with his phone and take out entire clusters of enemies when used correctly. To go into every single detail of what you can hack would take all day. I'll let you go out and discover some of the hackable systems yourself, and I have no doubt you'll enjoy doing so. That kind of hacking, however, is done simply by pressing buttons, and Aiden's phone takes care of it for you. However, there are other means of hacking that require a much more personal involvement from the player. When breaking into a security system, for example, you're taken to a puzzle-like system in which you are required to redirect a blue beam to certain points in order to progress through the puzzle until you unlock the system to the required point. You can then go about your business and claim your prize as 2014's best hacker. After a nice time out and about hacking, you may very well need to make a hasty escape from the area without being spotted, and so we move on to the stealth aspect of the game. Though not as in-depth as titles like Splinter Cell or Metal Gear Solid, where at times stealth may be your only option, Watchdogs still delivers a heart-pounding and immersive stealth system, offering you a fun alternative to the simple let's blow shit up and kill everyone approach. The use of the cover system, which is easy to use, helps you to sneak around your opponents, either taking them out one by one or simply moving past them, whilst at the same time using Aiden's trusty phone to cause distractions, such as opening and closing doors, or even taking out a few opponents by detonating their explosives. At times makes you feel as though you could give Batman a run for his money, although I wouldn't advise trying it. If spotted by an enemy, they may attempt to call for help or reinforcements if possible, which of course your phone will tell you if they can or not, but not to worry. With the easy use of a jam comms found on the weapons wheel, you can stop them from raising the alarm and then take them out as quickly as possible, allowing you to move on as though you were never spotted. If being stealthy isn't your forte, Watch Dogs does not eliminate running and gunning as an option. Though there isn't a massive amount of weapons to choose from, those you do have are incredibly fun to use. I have to say, firing a weapon on Watch Dogs has to be one of the most satisfying shooting experiences I've had to date in gaming, and certainly the most satisfying I've had on Xbox One yet. The guns all sound incredible, with realistic recoil and great barrel flashes and smoke. The look, sound and feel of shooting on Watch Dogs all combine for an experience that'd give even the largest first-person shooter titles a run for the award for best feeling weaponry. Maybe your stealth didn't quite work out, and maybe you're now becoming overrun by enemies or police, which leaves you with only one option. It's time to find yourself a nice set of wheels and get the fuck out of there. High-speed chases in Watch Dogs are incredibly fun, and of course you have the choice of simply attempting to outrun your pursuers and escaping using swift driving techniques and speed, or you can always place your trust in Aiden's skills as a hacker to help you get away. Hacking traffic lights as you pass them, causing huge collisions behind you, hopefully taking them out or slowing down the bad guys, or there are much more direct approaches to taking down your opponents, such as rupturing underground plumbing, causing an explosion right beneath them, allowing you to simply drive off into the distance. High-speed pursuits luckily take your attention away from the frankly awful driving mechanics. When simply exploring Chicago in a car, you will begin to notice the underdeveloped driving, which it takes away massively from the otherwise sensational gameplay. I myself have found I can have a great stealthy experience, followed by an intense gunfight, a high-speed pursuit, and after it all settles I find myself simply laughing at the driving, and all the effort of the developers seems lost. Driving in a straight line at high speeds, then turning without slowing down and simply carrying on in another straight line without difficulty is simply not good enough, and we've come to expect a lot more for such anticipated releases. The cars seem bad, but I can assure you the motorbikes are much worse. At times it seems almost impossible to be knocked from the bikes, and you can take jumps with ease, crash at high speeds, and just drive as recklessly as you like with almost no consequences. Driving is just one of the skills that can be upgraded via the use of Aiden's skill tree. Like any other skill tree, the system is simple and easy to use. Completing simple tasks such as taking out enemies or escaping from the police give you points which will contribute to the acquisition of your next skill point, which will allow you to upgrade either your hacking, driving, combat or crafting abilities, which only increase Aiden's badassery level as you become able to hack things for longer, create more powerful devices, drive better or shoot more accurately. The skills tree isn't huge, however, and your options are limited, and to be honest, the implementation of a skill tree at times simply feels pointless. If the skill tree wasn't there, I personally don't feel like we'd be losing much, and would rather just play the game and get on with it. Thankfully, as far as single player goes, the pros massively outweigh the cons, and driving is the only thing I'm not absolutely satisfied with. Apart from that, the single player for me is one of the most immersive, fun, detailed, and all-round best gaming experiences I've ever had. I wish, however, I could say the same for the multiplayer. When on those rare occasions you can actually get into a game without having server issues, I hope your hopes aren't high. The gameplay feels incredibly troubled as your opponents seem to glitch around the environment, making them ever harder to shoot at. You'll become frustrated with your teammates as they almost all seem to leave, never to be replaced by new arrivals. The game types themselves aren't awful, almost all of which are completely new concepts, and as ideas on paper they should be massively fun to play, but unfortunately they just aren't. The mechanics of Watchdogs just doesn't seem to suit a multiplayer experience, especially given that you adjust the strength of your aim assist, almost giving everyone an aimbot. The free roam is incredibly empty. You can drive around with your friends or strangers, shoot each other if you both have friendly fire enabled, start single player minigames, and start police chases. That's it. That's literally it. As far as multiplayer goes, if you're after an incredibly fun free roam experience, buy GTA 5. If you're after a fast-paced multiplayer shooter, buy COD. If it's an all-out war you're after, buy Battlefield. If it's racing, get Forza. But as far as multiplayer on Watch Dogs goes, it's almost a complete waste of time and is better left untouched, as it seems Ubisoft have done. Overall, Watch Dogs has its good and bad points. The single player, though flawed in places, is nothing short of spectacular, offering you an immersive story backed up by an incredible environment to explore, with multiple different ways to approach all your end goals, and you're never left with nothing to do. The multiplayer, however, is awful, but I don't think anyone was waiting for the multiplayer. Watch Dogs was always hyped up for its single player, which delivers in style. It's like nothing we've ever seen, and I'll be playing it for a very long time to come. The single player for me gets a 9.5 out of 10, brought down only by its driving, and the multiplayer gets a mere 2 out of 10, purely because though it is awful, it could be worse. Let me know what you guys think of Watch Dogs in the comments below and leave a like. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't already so you don't miss any streams or videos, and subscribe to me on YouTube if you haven't already so my videos come straight to your feed. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.